Let me show you a classroom from 50 years ago. Now let me show you a classroom that's a little more recent. As you can see, these two pictures do not differentiate from each other much. And it's our job, as looking at these classrooms side by side, what is your classroom going to look like? Are you going to allow it to look like what it's been looking like for the past 50 years? Today we're going to be looking at the top 8 things you can do to make your classroom more effective. Number 8, flexible grouping. Flexible grouping helps you find ways to match students' learning needs and match the goals for a particular lesson. This can be done in whole group instruction, small group instruction, independent learning, and these techniques allow students to benefit from engaging into these multiple techniques, different perspectives. Please remember, these are fluid and ever-changing, and please do not pigeonhole students into advanced groups or struggling groups. Coming in at number 7, differentiation in the environment. Now, focusing on the content, the process, and the product, the content is making it relevant for your students. And the process is how are you going about that? Are the students visual, hands-on learners, or need to be told how to do it? And then lastly, the product. Is this going to be done in a writing assignment, a video, a PowerPoint? These can be flexible options. Now, also, making sure that your environment is catering to the needs of your students. If you have students that are sensitive to fluorescent lights, putting fabric up with fabric can help aid in making them more comfortable. And also providing yoga balls for the more restless students to allow them to engage into activity as they're learning. Now, effective differentiation inevitably incorporates respectful tasks by Carol Ann Tomlinson. Coming in at number 6, various ways to learn. Now, this can be done in whole class activities, whereas the whole class is participating in a project, producing one whole project in the end. So as you see here, they've all were given hands, probably given some information to be put on the hands, and they've created a class project. This can also be done in small group learning. Putting children into smaller groups, allowing them to collaborate with one another, to engage into an activity, and give you a final result. This is very important in the learning process. Lastly is student-led instruction. This can be done in the form of a science project, whereas a student is able to engage more so into the material that sparks their interest and allowing them to show you what they've learned on their level. Now, continual assessment, making sure that you individualize to meet each student needs. This is important in assuring that all students are getting the necessary tools needed. And monitor your students' success with portfolios to allow that individualized learning process to occur. And lastly, recognize all abilities. Make sure that you're celebrating all the differences in your class. Coming in at number 4 is meeting the needs of all of your students. Now, first we must understand readiness, which is the capacity to learn new material. Keep in mind that this material should stretch a student's knowledge past their independence level. Don't water down information in order to meet the needs of all. Provide them a quality-led education and introduce them to information that's relevant for topics suited for that student. If they're interested in pursuing SLOS, allow them to do that and at their level. Making sure that you communicate with the child to ensure they are gaining the tools necessary to enhance their learning. Make sure that you're having those conversations with your student and making sure that they're feeling supported. Now, the interest of the child. I know the curriculum may seem restrictive at times, and students will show more engagement in various topics. Be sure to relate the material to your students and find what sparks their interest to the material. Now, this can be done to relating to real life examples. You can have them write a song, build models or displays, and create literature circles to read and discuss interesting topics that they can share and talk about with one another to ensure that they are learning what they're learning necessary. Coming in at number 3, the learning profile. The learning profile incorporates the environment and making sure that you're sensitive to the cultural influence. This ensures that you're making sure all students have a supportive relationship with you. And lastly, your students, are they visual, auditory, kinesthetic? How do your students learn best? Really get to know your student, be able to know them on a one-on-one basis and know what they like and what motivates them. This ensures that you'll have an effective classroom. Coming to number 2, using PLC models to guide your teaching. Really, this allows your community to come together and work as a team, ensuring all abilities are being met and all students are being addressed through paraprofessionals, school psychologists, principals. Make sure everyone's working as a team to ensure that all students are making sure that they are flourishing in their environment. And number 1, incorporate a 3-tiered approach to provide a high-quality education for all students to succeed. In a 3-tiered approach, our goals are to allow students to go throughout these interchangeably. So number 3 would require one-on-one intervention, whereas number 2 would be more small group. And number 1, every student is given a quality education and delivered in a way that meets their needs. So going throughout this level is very critical. And I leave you with everybody is a genius, but if you judge a fish by its ability to climb a tree, it will live its whole life believing that it is stupid.